Hello everyone, my name is Alfie Lockey. My talk is about combating anxiety by expanding the comfort zone. I've always struggled with anxiety in the past, and it's held me back. However, I want to directly combat my anxiety. I've found ways to do this over my life so far, and I want to share a couple with you. I believe that the notion of the comfort zone is a crucial part of taking down anxiety. I think that the comfort zone could be explained as a ring of comfortable places where you feel safe. But I've also found that fighting anxiety can be hard to do, and it can be easy to give up. However, don't give in to anxiety. Feed your will to fight for what you want. My anxiety links to IBS and agoraphobia. Does anyone in the audience know what this means? Yes. My comfort circle has shrunk due to lockdown. I've not been able to travel long distances, and even short journeys became panic-inducing. Think of journeys to school. This is my personal hurdle, and I've always struggled with things like this, but it's become a lot worse because of lockdown. As mentioned before, the comfort zone is almost a ring of safety, of comfort, security, and also just general safety. And I've been making progress to widen this comfort zone, but lockdown has been a massive setback to this. I like to think that lockdown has stopped me from taking a lot of opportunities that would normally stretch what I think is possible. But I think that now that we're headfirst into lockdown, almost we're coming out of it now, it's given me more opportunities, such as this, to stretch my comfort zone further. And now to get onto the science side of anxiety. The fight or flight response is a response to stressful situations of the human body. These stressful situations could be being attacked by a bear, you could be chased by a serial killer, or you might be even hanging off a cliff, really. But anxiety is when this response fires in inappropriate situations. For example, you don't want to run away from an interviewer, and you certainly don't want to punch them. This means it can be quite inconvenient and quite embarrassing. And because of this lack of danger, you might still feel this response, and you might know this as most of the symptoms of anxiety, such as chills, cold sweats, shaking. I'm currently shaking right now because of my anxiety. But you can always get over this hurdle. And worst of all, this is often an involuntary response, which means you have little control over it. And as such, we need to retrain our brains to fix the issues. You might know these therapies as cognitive behavioral therapy. But you might be wondering, how does this relate to 2020 vision? Well, many young people, such as me, are in the midst of a time of great change in our lives. We're growing up, becoming independent and responsible young adults. We're establishing social connections and boundaries. So in a way, we're laying down the foundations of our comfort zones. But due to the COVID-19 pandemic and subsequent lockdowns in 2020 and 21, we've been starved of opportunities to develop as people. This has resulted in it being harder to try new things, go new places, and meet new people. But how can we put this knowledge into practice? Secure the secondary pandemic of stunted comfort zones. We need to healthily push our boundaries. It might be uncomfortable, but discomfort is only temporary, and in this case, it always leads to good things. You could do this by trying new things, meeting new people, socially distanced, of course, or trying new foods, and confidence will always follow. It's crucial to also take this in steps that you're comfortable with. Baby steps are fine, so long as you're not making anxiety dictate what you can do. Don't let anxiety define who you are. It might also help to look into ways to reduce your symptoms, looking into ways to calm yourself down. For example, deep breathing or meditation. Self-help books also help, obviously, because of the name. It also helps to channel your anxious energy into a hobby. For example, I've done this with baking and painting, which you might not think of very energy-needing. You might not think of these hobbies as needing lots of energy, but it honestly does help. And remember, staying positive is crucial. Seek the good things in life and stick with them. From my own experiences, putting these methods into practice has helped me a lot. I'm now more confident and in control of my anxiety. I've experimented with cutting out foods to reduce my IBS symptoms, and as such, I've got more control over my life, and I've got more control to stretch my comfort zone. In the process, I've developed a passion for cooking. In spite of my dietary restrictions, I've channeled my anxious energy into preparing food. I like to think of beating anxiety as a bit like baking bread. We're slowly working on getting better and better over time. But even if sometimes your bread won't rise, you can always try again. Never give in and never give up. If I had to talk to a past version of myself and tell him that today I'd be standing in front of all of you talking about my anxiety, you probably would have fainted on the spot. But now, due to all of this training and all of this practice, I can stand here and not immediately go into some sort of catatonic state. Overall, I believe that overcoming personal hurdles is the #1 way to expand your comfort zone and combat anxiety head-on. We all have our own unique struggles, however, and as such, we'll all have our own unique ways to combat our struggles. But the commonality, I believe, is to look at your current boundaries and think, can I do more? Am I letting anxiety hold me back? Look at me here now. Could you do the same? Would your anxieties and hurdles stop you? It's crucial to rid yourself of these hurdles to get the most out of your life. Are you holding back? Try pushing yourself a little more, a little further, and see where it takes you. And remember, it's not a failure to ask for help. It's okay to have off days too. Have a break if it's all too much, taking too much energy from you. But make sure to communicate as well. This might be a very hard process, but remember, a problem shared is a problem halved. And as a final thought, have recent events pushed you to try things that you normally wouldn't have? For example, with me, I've been stuck at home for most of 2020, but now I've looked at that and thought, this isn't good enough. I want to do more, and now I'm here. Have you been forced to combat your anxiety in similar ways? Have you had similar experiences? Thank you.